Turning Point USA.
Turning Point USA. We need to know the history of this thing. And I'm really surprised. I'm watching the news. Maybe I missed it. I haven't heard anybody talk about this organization. It was founded when? 2012. Who founded it? Well, Charlie Kirk founded it, but there was another founder named Bill Montgomery. Okay. How old was Charlie Kirk when this got started? He was 18. Yeah. When did he start it? The day after he graduated from high school. All right, everybody, sit back, think a little bit. Is it plausible that Charlie Kirk, is a spontaneous, natural creation? Okay, now he was obviously a talented speaker, a talented rhetorician, debater. He had star quality, no question, and he was showing it at 18. But how many 18-year-olds do you know who are to get something going? How many people know the annual budget of Turning Point USA? Because he was just the tip of a very large iceberg. How about $80 million a year? How many employees do they have? 5, 10, 20? How about over 600? This was a big, big, big enterprise.
It sounds like you're alluding to that he was selected or he was chosen.
I would say, and that's $80 million, a lot of money to come in every year. And managing 600, he wasn't managing those 600 employees. He was the star. He's like, like you're the rock and roll guy or whatever. You're playing the lead guitar, and there's like the roadies, and there's the guy, your manager, and the guy that's doing the negotiations, and the people that are planning out the tour. I mean, it's an army behind him. All right. So he was the front man for something. All the revenue, donations. Okay. $5 here, $10 here, and lots of multi-million-dollar checks. From whom? We don't know.
TPUSA was founded by Charlie Kirk in concert with a guy named Bill Montgomery. Most of you don't know Bill Montgomery. He was his history's a little hard to track down, frankly, honestly. Shouldn't be that way. It started what way? Yeah, I'm telling you. I just told you it started that way. You don't have to. Thank you, L. Parker, for confirming that it started that way, but I told you it started that way. You don't have to tell me it started that way after I've told you it started that way. It was a free market, limited government organization. That's all it was. And here's Bill Montgomery, and he died, you'll notice, from the Rona. He was taken down by the Rona July of 2020 at age 80. At that point, Charlie Kirk is in sole control of TPUSA. I want to play a quick clip of I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you have, you're going to watch it again. It's only a couple minutes. I think it's endearing. It provides tremendous context to what ended up happening to Charlie Kirk. And I think it provides context for how this whole thing got away from him. So I want to play this clip because I think Charlie Kirk would be alive today if he was a little more in control of TPUSA than he was. He lost control of TPUSA, and Bill Montgomery kind of explains that here. So let me play this. This is a clip from late 2019. Bill Montgomery would be dead within 9 months. But let's play the clip here, and you guys can judge for yourself.
This is Bill Montgomery. You guys know Turning Point? I know you guys know Turning Point. They're doing remarkable work out there on the campuses. This guy is the co-founder. Co-founder, right?
Co-founder.
Wow. So
I met him when he was 18 years old.
Who, Charlie?
Charlie.
Yeah.
He was speaking at Benedictine University, and there was a demonstration put on by the former Attorney General of Illinois to demonstrate to 400 high school students the difference between Tea Party people and Occupy Wall Street people. And what was interesting, they put on mock demonstrations, had 3 speakers from each group speak, and really interesting, the kids were bored silly. So, as the seventh speaker was walking up to the podium, I looked at the clock and I said, I hope it isn't going to be a long speech. I turned around and I watched 400 kids going from falling to sleep to wide awake. And so afterwards, I looked at the clock, not afterwards, but I looked at the clock and it was only about 20 seconds it took for him to make these kids wide awake. I was so impressed with his message and the way he did it that I went down to him afterwards and I said, Charlie Kirk, you don't know me, but you can't go to college. He was 18 years old. He was going to go to Baylor. I said, you've got to start an organization to reach out to young people in this country.
So that was the first meeting of the tour, right? Let's say at that event, he went off against the genocide. Okay, if they killed him on the second, stop, it looks bad, right? It looks less bad if he's killed before he can even start talking. Okay, so let's rewind something here. My guess is you got to understand there's rooms full of people making sure all this propaganda is on track. And one of their key assets, Charlie Kirk. And so years ago, because this has been going on for a while, when he starts making comments about Israel, the radar blipped, right? And they now have a problem, and they're now watching him really carefully. And they're trying to talk sense into that boy. And it's not working. And that's when the plan went in. Okay, it's like, hey, we got to stop this. He's going to be on tour. Now, here's the logic. This is how it went down. I will bet money on it. He's going to be on tour. Okay. And this is where the inside job comes in. And we need to know everything about everybody that works at Turnaround USA. Planning a tour is complicated, correct? Bring it down to everyday life. Let's say you're going to do a multi-city vacation. You're going to fly to New York. You're going to spend some days there. Then you're going to fly to Boston. You're going to spend some days there. Then you're going to fly to Toronto and you're going to spend some days there. This is complicated, right? Well, these tours are 1,000 times more complicated, right? Because you're going to have audiences everywhere. So here's the key. Somebody had to plan the tour. Right? And when you plan a tour, what do? First stop, second stop, third stop, fourth stop, fifth stop. This was a guy that had, the claim was 3,500 chapters of live human beings on campuses, high school and college all over the United States. When he goes out to speak, thousands of people show up. Okay? This is a big deal. This man is not allowed to have an opinion of any kind other than the uber alles opinion. So once it was clear that he was going to be a problem, they put in a plan to kill him. They allegedly put in a plan. And you'll see the logistics, because everything's logistics. You can't fly to the moon, with a paper airplane, And I used to tell people before they did the insane thing of trying to invade Afghanistan, is you can't invade Afghanistan in a pickup truck. So there's going to be a tour. And somebody's going to plan that tour, right? First town, second town, third town, fourth town. Somebody decided that the first place for him to start was Orem, Utah. Okay. Now, just by coincidence, that Orem, Utah site, perfect place. In fact, I'm sure they looked at all the different places that Charlie could go to, right? They were sitting around a table and they're looking at, let's see, here's this place, here's, this town, that town, here's Orem. Ooh, that looks interesting. Depressed area, buildings everywhere, tight courtyard, massive panic when the shot goes off. I like that. Let's go with that. Okay, Jack or Jill or whoever was planning the tour, make that the first stop on the tour.
The timeline is absolutely absurd, okay? The absolute absurdity of Turning Point, as we learned, having received a request from Charlie, from UVU, for Charlie to speak on their campus in mid-July, okay? Just a few weeks before he dies. In mid-July, they get a request. Can Charlie speak on campus? And then they immediately approve that request and they schedule it as his first stop some 6 weeks later. That has never happened in the history of my having done campus tours. Okay. This was a tour stop. And you literally get these requests months before you start sorting through them. I mean, I'm going to show you the real proof so you can grasp how atypical the setup is. Okay. Charlie and I went on tour in April of 2024 together. We actually also split doing certain locations because they want to do as many locations all over the United States as possible. And April of 2024 is when our campus events began. I'm now going to show you an email of when we started planning that, okay? So keep in mind, the back of your mind, this request for UVU came in July and they approved it for September. For my April 2024 event, here is when we started planning. Here's an email, okay? You will note that this email came in October of 2023. They told me, here are these events. As briefly mentioned, we're in the beginning stages of planning and requesting rooms for schools for next semester. Let me know. These are pending availability and approval. University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, which I think we ended up doing, University of Pittsburgh, which I think we did, and the University of Alabama. We are talking about end of March and early April events, okay, in October of 2023. I am telling you guys, when we go back and we look at the calendar and we see that request went out in mid-July, it drives me insane. It just screams at me that this was an inside job.
Brass Check TV, free to you, not free to us. We've got a server bill, we've got an email software bill, we've got a tech helper bill, and that happens every month. So to everybody that is supporting us financially, that's paying for their subscription in one way or another, we really appreciate it. If you're not, consider doing so. Everybody's got money for the newspaper and the cable bill and all that. Do you have money for media that's actually serving you? That's really the issue here. And when you help us, it allows us to get this information out to the world. So thanks to all our supporters, and if you're not a supporter already, please consider becoming one.